Just to tell you a little bit about the archive and how it came about. So basically what happened when the wall came down, you know, there were several revelations about the huge role that the secret police was playing in East German society. And of course, people were very angry and, you know, felt betrayed. They felt, you know, some people who had been imprisoned felt that they lost many years of their life. So people naturally wanted to know what the secret police had been keeping about them, like files, records, and all of that. So in January of the following year, a group of people decided to storm the Ministry of State Security and in an attempt to demand their files, the information that they had gathered about them. And the secret police knew that this might happen, and they became quite panicked because they were trying to cover some of their tracks. Some of the things that they had done were crimes. They had committed crimes against people. This included, you know, things as bad as assassinations, and you know, that's, you know, the most extreme, but also just sabotaging and really destroying people's lives, you know, causing them to be imprisoned, things like that. So they were trying to cover up those tracks and began destroying files and destroying evidence. So what you see here is just a small portion, or relatively small portion, of what the Stasi produced, which was, as you can see, a huge amount of paper that was saved. So the Stasi File Archive also does an amazing job at even reconstructing files made from little shredded pieces of paper. So when the ministry was stormed, the employees quickly put whole files in shredders. And so the Stasi archive has huge bags filled with little shreds of papers. And they have, you know, like I think this is the only place where they have a software that reconstructs those files made from like those little pieces of paper. And yes, and you can see in the pictures, it's just random little bits of paper tied together with strings. And it doesn't, you know, when you look at it like this, you think, oh, what is this? It's just very messy. But really, if you go to the archive yourself, and especially if you have a history of coming into contact with the Stasi, this is very daunting. So I don't know if you can really tell by this picture with those doors. These are actually shelves that can be moved from side to side because there's so many of them. And it's quite daunting, like looking through those aisles of just files upon files. And when I went to the archive several times during my research fieldwork, there were many people who, you know, who had very emotional reactions to seeing just what it was that the Stasi was keeping. And so here is just a little glimpse into what one of these reports looks like. So this is something that the Stasi archive, you know, allows the public to see. So this is not somebody's private file, but it's just to show, you know, what it looks like, what they would write. In such a report. You can see there's a lot of blacked out. This was blacked out later on by the archive. So sometimes, you know, if there's information about somebody that, you know, you're not supposed to know about, then they would have blacked things out. But yeah, it's quite interesting. Also, you can see here, a lot of the reports were actually handwritten. You can barely imagine that nowadays, where everything is so digitalized, but there were people who literally like sat down and, you know, reported somebody's, you know, entire days just making notes and recording what somebody said in a certain conversation. And like here you can see, you know, this person, for example, had an appointment at a certain time and was late at, you know, and so they write like really, really minute details. And what's interesting about this work, looking at the work of the Stasi, is that there's also a huge amount of just very mundane records. Not everything is, you know, some kind of spy agent thriller. A lot of it is very mundane and just very everyday, you know, very everyday things. But it shows that that state apparatus was very paranoid about what people could be doing, yeah, against the state or the secret police.